you have to break up with your partner. If you're going to read tarot like that, you should not read tarot. You should not read tarot for yourself. You should not read tarot for other people if you're going to take it as black and white. Hey guys, welcome back to the God Complex channel. If you are new here, do subscribe, turn on the post bell notifications. I post podcast episodes on here weekly on Wednesdays, and then I throw up other videos throughout the week, so you're never going to be short on content. Now today we're going to be going over a concept off of one of my podcast episodes, which was, I will post it up here or whatever, is tarot toxic? Now in that episode we go over the fact that tarot in fact can be toxic, but if you do it properly and utilize it for the right reasons, it can be a really awesome tool, and that's what we're going to go over today. And if you stick around to the end, there will be a bonus lesson all about connecting with spirit through tarot. Literally anyone can do it. Mediumship is not something you are, it's something that you can practice. Definitely stay tuned for that, because that's probably the biggest question I get asked as somebody who's done tarot reading for years now and connected with spirit through tarot. This is literally how I did it. I'm going to show you guys how in the bonus lesson at the end. So the first question I get asked is like, what deck to get? My honest opinion is that it does not matter what deck you get. There's two different types of decks that I would recommend kind of looking between. You can either get an oracle deck, which is not specifically tarot. It's cards that the person that made the deck kind of came up with. This is Work Your Light oracle cards. I got these on Amazon. You maybe can get them elsewhere. This is an awesome deck. So many people use this deck. It's super pretty, and I just felt called to grab it. So that's why I decided to get this deck. I have a tarot deck, Moonchild Tarot. I did buy this specifically from the actual artist who made this deck, and such a good purchase. I literally have incense burned into it. And I've used this deck for all of my tarot readings for the past couple years for clients. So I actually made money running a tarot business for years, and now I don't do readings, personal readings anymore, which is why I'm putting this video out there so that you guys can do this for yourself. You do not need me to do this for you. If anything, it can be kind of toxic. So when choosing your deck, really just choose something that calls to you. A lot of tarot readers will say, start with the Rider-Waite deck, start with the traditional tarot deck. I disagree, because I don't think that tarot needs to necessarily be about what the book says and what the traditional meaning of the card is. When we're talking about tarot, I think it's a really great tool, and what we're going to do with it in this video is that it's going to be a tool for you to connect with yourself, you to connect with spirit possibly, you to connect with your path. So I don't think that it's really necessary to have any specific deck or any right or wrong way to do it. That's my personal opinion. If you don't align with that, totally fine, no offense taken. The spiritual community can sometimes gatekeep tarot as if it's like dangerous. And I think that as much as it can be toxic when used improperly, it should be available to every single person in the whole world. Everyone should be able to use this as a spiritual tool. So definitely do not be afraid, and get whatever tarot deck you feel called to get. Next thing that is ridiculously important is learning your deck, okay? So you obviously, like I said, everything will come with a book. This is the book that comes with my deck, but honestly, I utilize it minimally. The first thing that I would say to do, going through each card for yourself and kind of understanding what you notice about the card, what you take from the title of the card, what you feel from the card. Maybe it doesn't even make logical sense what you're taking from it, but you're seeing something. Sometimes, like for instance with the Lovers card, I'm seeing this relationship, this like energy, but then other times I'll be reading for people and I'll really see the water and the gold and the colors, and I understand the card completely differently, because in that moment it's really showing me like energy and water, and sort of that's more meaning flow for me. So maybe it has something to do with love, but coming into a flow of love. Whereas if I was to read the book, this was kind of, the Lovers card is just talking about a really strong connection, but for me, I would really read it as something completely different. So before you read the book, before you read what the book has to say about the card, take your own energy from the card. Make your own mind up about the card, because what this is this is a tool between you and your soul, you and spirit, you and the other side, as I call it. And so the best way to do that is to connect your own energy with each card so that spirit can flip the card that makes sense for you. Screw it. The whole point and the best way to read tarot is to create your own connection to the card, because what that's going to do is it's going to turn you inwards rather than becoming addicted to the cards and needing the cards to tell you what you're feeling. You're going to drop a card and it's going to trigger an emotion inside of you. It's going to help you to understand yourself better, your emotions better, and talk through it with yourself better, if that makes sense, which is really my whole point of teaching tarot, is to help you guys understand that. You can also read cards reversed, okay? So in tarot, when something's reversed, some people think of it as being a negative thing. It depends on the card, but reversals are just the opposite of the normal meaning of the card. And again, you can take a different energy from it. There again will be in the book an explanation of what the card means reversed. For me, I take it and I try to read it as it comes. So the Lovers in reverse, for me, this is really talking about self-love, going inwards, moving away from a connection possibly, or within your relationship, creating space so that you can focus within yourself, because sometimes the Lovers means like you're coming into a connection, so the reversal would just be moving away from a connection, if that makes sense. But again, I wouldn't take it as cut and dry. It's not black and white. Sometimes people get really hung up on the meaning of it. It's like a reversal Lovers means you have to break up with your partner. If you're going to read tarot like that, you should not read tarot. You should not read tarot for yourself. You should not read tarot for other people if you're going to take it as black and white. You have to be open to interpretation. You have to be open to listening to yourself. Even if the card feels like something, it's trying to tell you something, you have to listen to yourself over the cards. As soon as you start to put the cards above your own internal dialogue, your own self, your own knowings, it's going to be super toxic for you. Before we get into the fun part of when to use your tarot deck, I want to first start by saying when not to use your deck, when to avoid using your tarot deck. When you feel like you need to pull a card, like you need clarity, even if you really want clarity, the clarity is going to make you feel better. Like tarot is going to make you feel better about where you're at right now. Please do not pull from your deck. Do not ask someone else to pull from their deck for you. I have been in this situation so many times, and this is what I call spiritual addiction. It's when you feel that spiritual tools can help you through where you're at. In spirituality, in those moments, the only thing that matters is your surrender. You have to surrender into those moments, and sometimes we think that spirituality or spiritual tools can't be addictions. You know, if we're grasping at drugs or alcohol, that's an addiction, but your tarot deck, that can't be an addiction. Well, if you're grasping at it in a moment of need, needing clarity, wanting clarity, feeling better because you're pulling from your deck, that is an addiction too. And it's not to say that that's a bad thing. I don't think addiction is good or bad. I do, however, think that it keeps you from your internal truth, from your internal peace, if you will. It keeps you from finding your soul. And so I would never ever recommend pulling from that place. That's how it starts to become toxic, is that you think that your peace or your guidance or your clarity is all coming from these cards, and at the end of the day, they are just cards. They're a helpful tool, but in those moments, do not start to grasp for your tarot deck. That being said, when do you want to grasp for your tarot deck? When do you want to pull cards? When's a good time to pull from your deck? I would always say when it's a want, like it could add to your current state, then go for it. If you are ready to kind of hear what Spirit has to say, guidance on your next steps, you're kind of open to anything. When you're in a state of detachment from the outcome, when you're in a state of, I don't really need to pull right now, I don't really feel the need to pull, I don't need to know what's coming next, but I'm really open to any guidance on anything that I could do next, or things not necessarily futuristic like what's going to happen next week, but more so like what are the next blocks that I have to move through? What's a direction that I should start to focus towards? It's all to say, I'm open to it. I'm not necessarily going to take it verbatim. I'm not going to think about it like I have to do this and this is going to get me out of my current situation because I hate my life right now. It's just like, I'm okay where I'm at. I'm calm. I'm in a state of peace right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull to add. It's like the icing on the cake. That is when you should definitely start to pull from your deck and utilize your cards to advance your spiritual growth. Why not? You have a connection with spirit. Go for it. So now, what to ask, how to shuffle, how to read your deck, all of that good stuff. First and foremost, when you're asking questions, like I was just saying, you just want to ask open-ended questions. I'm open to anything. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say for me. Is there anything that I should be looking towards? I'm happy where I'm at right now. I'm ready for more. So those are the kind of questions that you want to ask. I'm open to guidance. I'm here to hear what you have to say. How to shuffle your deck. So there's a million ways. You can shuffle any way that you would shuffle a card deck. I personally go like this, and when one flies out, let's see if we can get one to do it. I wait for one to fly out. I go back and forth sometimes. That one kind of popped. Oh, see, there you go. Okay, so you see how that one kind of slid out off the top? So this is the Two of Pentacles and the Moonchild card flipped at the same time. So what I would do is I would pop those down on my table in whatever order I want. Sometimes I place them down right beside them. Sometimes I'll ask for like a number. How many cards should I be pulling right now? And I'm kind of hearing like 3 more, like allowing 3 more to drop. So I'll first put these 2 above, and then I'll probably put the next 3 just underneath. Again, there's a million ways to program your tarot, but I would steer clear of those. I would really go based on a feeling. The whole point of this deck is to activate your feeling and your intuition and your spiritual connection within. So start to feel out what comes next and start to trust yourself. Tarot, when used properly, is the best way to learn to trust yourself, learn to trust your intuition, learn to trust the messages that are coming to you, because you have spiritual connection. Everyone does. Literally every single person on the human planet has a spiritual connection. So let's see if we can get 3 more, because I just was feeling 3. Again, oh, see, okay, this one popped in reverse, so I'm just gonna put that down there on the one side. And sometimes if I'm feeling, oh, okay, that one popped. Again, this one's in reverse too. I'm going to put this on the other side, and then I'll probably get 1 or so more. When I'm shuffling, if something's not coming out, if nothing's coming, I sometimes go back and forth like this just to juggle up the energy of the cards. I can kind of feel the energy within the cards. It's like buzzing in my fingers. You know when you go like this and your fingers are kind of buzzing with energy, you can feel the energy in between. That's kind of what it feels like when your deck is like charged and full of good energy. So sometimes to clear the energy or breaking up the energy, I will blow on the deck. Sometimes I tap on the deck, and sometimes I shake the deck back and forth. Those are some fun ways to just kind of break up that energy, settle my own energy, check in with my own energy, because usually it's a mirror of whatever you're feeling yourself, and go ahead and go again. Let's see, whatever you guys, yep, thank you. And so the Death card upright popped up, and this feels right. I can feel right away when it popped up, it makes total sense. So I'll show you guys what I have on my desk right now. But first and foremost, we want to check the back of the deck. The back of the deck is the overall message, like added overall bird's eye view messages. From there, I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. This is my tarot lineup here. This is the book here, but I'm not even going to worry about that right now. The Death card is here. I picked this out last. These 2 popped out first. This one popped out next. This one popped out next. How I'm reading this is that these 2 cards are really important. These are the 2 that popped out first. They're general messages. these reversals are helping to clarify what these cards mean in this specific reading, and this is again an overall message, okay? And that's as simple as it is. That is tarot. You can read through it however you want. You can then continue to pull if you want more clarity on something, but again, checking in with yourself constantly to make sure that you're not pulling or shuffling from a fear-based place of needing clarity, of needing the cards to fix your life. Now, let's get into your bonus lesson. And this is just going to be a quick overview. We'll go through it more in the course, which I'm developing for tarot. It's coming soon, right as we film this video, so stay tuned. If it is launched, it will be in the description below, and you can take the full course. It'll be super affordable and super easy to do, just a little bit more in depth so that you can really follow along step by step with this rather than completely doing it self-guided. But I wanted to give you guys the information for free as much as possible. That's the whole point of God Complex. But the bonus lesson here, how to connect with spirit. And I go through this a lot in my 7 Phases of Human Awakening course, but the gist is that when you go inwards, when you sit in surrender, when you even utilize tarot in those good moments to hear yourself better, to hear the messages that you're getting better, to trust yourself better, to trust yourself to go inwards rather than grasp outside of yourself for addictions and codependencies and other things outside of yourself to bring you peace. When you're in that space, you are connecting with spirit. Your portal to the other side is your soul. We can kind of perceive it in energy. Some people will say I'm empathic and I feel things and I hear things and all that, and that's awesome. Those are all the human body opening up and allowing for perception of the other side. But that doesn't mean that some people can do it and other people can't. I am not a medium. I practice mediumship, meaning that I've connected so deeply with myself through so much bullshit and so much surrender that I started to be able to hear past loved ones, people that do not have bodies anymore, basically, if that makes sense. And you can do that too. That space is a space that we all have a portal to through our soul. So really it's a matter of cutting through your human bullshit, your human learned things, and coming to awakening within, feeling that you are not your human, that you are something else, and that something else is the same oneness that's connected with everyone and everything, whether they have a body or not anymore. So you can connect to the other side through that space. I know that's totally far out and I would have to go way into it, and it's taken years and years and years of practice to get there, but if you follow these steps and move through tarot and utilize tarot from a really healthy space of just adding to your already surrendered bliss, you're gonna find that you're starting to hear messages from spirit too. Run with that. The biggest problem with the spiritual community right now is that people are saying that, you know, not everyone can connect to spirit. Don't listen to it. Spirit can be really dangerous and really fearful. And the truth is that on the other side, there is no fear. There is no negativity. There is no negative energy. It's all neutral energy. It's all peace. It's all bliss. That's all that exists on the other side. When you start to bring your human learned things of there's pain and suffering on the other side into your practice, into your spiritual awakening, then that's what your person is going to experience. It's going to experience that part of the illusion. And so please try to come into this spiritual work from a place of there is only love and light on the other side, and so there's only love and light to be experienced, and you have that portal all in yourself. You don't have to listen to anybody else moving through that. All you have to do is continue to cut through your human learned things to feeling that love and light within. And tarot is going to be a really awesome way to start to hear those messages, to start to get clearer on, I flipped this card and I felt this message come through. Amazing. That is a spiritual message. You're practicing mediumship, or whatever we want to call connecting with the other side through your soul, and start to get really good at it. Start to practice it, play with it, and have fun with it. As soon as it stops being fun, put it down. There's no need for this to be too serious or to become an addiction, because that's where we get into the rat race of the toxicity. I hope this helps. We'll go more into fear, more into step by step, and more into all of it so that you can really, really utilize tarot and your spiritual experience to the fullest in our multimedia course below. Again, stay tuned for that, and thank you guys for watching.